If you guys are not familiar, we have built a multitude of different robotic cabinets here at Vapor Honing. This is by far our largest. It's made to accommodate quite large parts. As you can see, we have one loaded in here right now. But one thing still remains the same. These things are very easy to program. This is by far our most advanced cabinet yet, and that is due to the servo-driven turntable below, as well as other features that we've added to this machine. And these things are crazy easy to program, and that's also due to the fact that it's collaborative robotics. If you guys aren't familiar, collaborative robotics are safe to work around, and they are very easy to visually program. So what I'm gonna do here is actually showcase how easily this thing moves around, and I'll kind of show you guys how simple it is to program. Now, as you guys can see, this thing can quite easily navigate its way around larger parts. And again, that's due to that servo-driven turntable. One thing that is cool, again, with these larger parts, you can navigate around this thing easily, but because this turntable is indexable, if you have smaller parts, you can absolutely set a multitude of those around the turntable, index to the next one, and blast those. So this thing can be set up for small part production. Now, before we get into actually blasting, there's a few things I want to walk around on the exterior of this machine. One big thing that you'll notice when you open the door is that there's actually a cutaway up top. That's so that way you can actually crane the part in and set it down on this turntable. Additionally, you'll notice that the turntable is at the exact same level as the front. That way, if you need to forklift parts in, you can do that as well. Another benefit of this machine, and again, this is just due to the size, there's also a small door on the side. That way, if you have fixtures that you're setting parts into, you can line those up and verify everything from this side. This also helps with maintenance. There really isn't much maintenance on these cabinets. Changing the media out is the biggest thing that you'll have to do, and that's actually quite simple. Very easy to program, and this cabinet's very easy to actually navigate around. So guys, the next thing I want to show you is how easy this thing is to program. And one of the coolest features that comes from us using a collaborative robot is that we can actually teach points. If you've ever messed around with an industrial robot, you know how hard it can be to index every single joint to get to a position that you want. Now, this is a two-person job, so I'm gonna have John over here on the teach pendant. But John, you can go ahead and press that button. As you guys can see, I now have full control of this robot. So I can turn and index exactly to a position. John, you can go ahead and release. And now, this robot is holding, and so I can save this point and blast in this exact spot. Now, this is a very easy way to quickly program. Again, you can do this with the door open as long as you have the robot in program mode. That just verifies that none of the outputs can turn on, nor the turntable. So again, this is a very easy way to program. Now, additionally, I'll go ahead and take this back. If you want to program from the actual teach pendant, you can always go into the jog function, and I have access to every single joint as well as tasks. So I can move on the X, Y, and Z plane. So for instance, if I go back here, as you can see, I'm rotating real time. And of course you get a visual readout of where the robot is. So to actually set waypoints and configure where you want this thing to blast, it is incredibly easy. If you can operate a computer, you can operate this robot. On this screen, you guys can actually see the program that we just ran. So you can see where we're calling the servo to go home, and then we're indexing 180 degrees. And then you can see we start iterating through those moves that you saw the robot make. Now again, some of these moves were actually programmed by just dragging the robot. Some of them were actually made by moving up and down a coordinate. That way we can stay at the same distance from the part. But to actually program this thing, it's incredibly easy. Let's see, I can go ahead and show you guys how simple it is to add another point. So let's see, this is the last point that we have here before we go back to home, and I can actually go ahead and move the robot to that position, which you guys can see was up top. Now, what I like to do is I'll just copy that position and paste it in. So now, as you can see, we've got two of those. Go ahead and iterate up to position 5. Now we can go ahead and go to the jog mode. That way I can actually move this robot. We'll go to task, which now I'm on the X plane, so I can go ahead and move the robot to the left. So now I'm at the edge of my part. I can also move down near the part. Now I can go to my specific joint, start playing in what angle I want to hit, and then back on the teach pendant here, once I've got something that I like, I can go ahead, get that position, and confirm that spot. And then we've added it down. So in about 30 seconds, we've added another spot. Now, as far as it goes with turning on your pump and air and all of that, it's as simple as it gets. So your pinch valve, which controls your overflow, and as well as the demisting unit, is all controlled off of the pump output. That way you do not have to think about that. The robot's doing all of that for you. The air, you can choose whether to turn it on or not, as well as the rinse and dry capability that this thing has. As you can see, I can actually go ahead and bring this thing around. So as you guys can see, it has two portions for rinsing and drying capabilities. This one doesn't have it in here right now because we're speccing it out for a customer. We'll supply you with rinsing and drying nozzles that work best for your parts, and then just your standard blast gun. Again, of course, all of this can be configured based on what you need. This thing, again, is incredibly easy to maneuver. As you guys can see, you literally can just grab it, move it to a position, and program that. And again, because this thing is servo driven, you can verify that it will be in that exact same spot every single time. Let's say you're in the aircraft remanufacturing space and you're doing turbine blades. This is an excellent way to put a part in and get the exact same results every single time. So as you guys can see, it is incredibly easy to get up and running with one of these machines. Typically, we like to brand these things as low-cost adaptive automation. You can put any sort of part that you want in here and get repeatable results. If they're smaller, you can even put multiple and be able to index through and blast all those parts. So this thing is a great way to take any part that you have, put it in here, and get immediate results. If you guys have any questions regarding this machine, you can always check it out on our website, vaporholdingtechnologies.com. We will put a link in the description below. And if you have any questions, please comment on this video so that we can answer those for you. We really hope you like this thing. We are quite excited about it. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.